Now we're looking at the East African bloc being undermined by the Hamis Kiggundu case that was just concluded, where he won 120 billion Ugandan shillings in his case against DTB. Now what we'll do, Afeti, is look at that story and then come back to discuss how that particular case undermines the East African bloc that we're trying to create in terms of security and the fight against COVID-19, plus the economy.
Akwata makuba gonna ge bakoze ngo mwaka guweddeko gonna ne bakafulumya ki eggwanga ne balekali ne eggwanga nga kalu
zigenzo okuwera ssaawa 5 ez'okumakya ng'omusuubuzi omututumufu Hamis Kiggundu amanyikiddwa nga Ham yamaze dde okutuuka ku kkooti enkulu ewulira emisango gy'ebyensimbi okuwulira ensala y'omusango gwe yawabira Diamond Trust Bank ng'awakanya banka eno okumutwalako ebyobugagga bwe mu lukujjukujju. Omulamuzi Dr. Henry Peter Adonywa yabadde mu mitambo gy'omusango guno ogumaze ebbanga ery'emyezi 5 nga guwulira era ng'ono tamaze budde n'alagira Diamond Trust Bank okusasula Misi ensimbi ze mu bunnambiro. Ono wakusasulwa ensimbi eziriwe mu buwumbi 120 nga kwotadde n'ebyobugagga bye ebirala omuli n'ebyapa. Abamu ku bannamateeka ba Hamis Kiggundu nga bakulembeddwamu Fred Muwema bagamba banka ya DTB eremereddwa okuleeta obujulizi obumala nga kye kiwaliriza kkooti okukola ensala eno.
Kivuddeyo mu kkooti kukiwulidde kkooti egizaganyiza naffe nti difensi ya banka eri oba yali mu bumenyi bw'amateeka n'olwekyo tewali nsonga lwaki ssente ze twasaba tebazituwa, tewali nsonga lwaki ate tudda mu kkooti okuwoza bwabanga tewali difensi kyoba osabye kkooti kyekuwa. So n'olwekyo tuli basanyufu nnyo, tulowooza nti okusalawo kwa kkooti kw'amaanyi nnyo.
Ye Kiggundu alaze essanyu ery'amaanyi olw'ensala ya kkooti.
Twebaza kkooti zaffe wano wamma kuba leero zitulaze tizikyayimiridde ku musingi gwa justice. Nenebaza abalooya bange bano babiri abanyimiridde emabega wano, Kanso Muwema ne Kanso Kimala abayimiridde wano nange. Nenebaza ne bannayuganda bannange mwenna abayimiridde nange musango guno. Nasooka ne mbagamba nti DTB yajja biliyoni 12 ku akaunti zange iligali. Abasinga ne mulowooza nti nimba, abasinga ne mulowooza nti ni mukatemba. Nene ngamba nti ngedi banka gizimaze banga zibba bannayuganda nga tulaba. Ate nga nange nasomako amwe lawyer by profession sijja kukitwalira kungulu.
Kiggundu era ategeezezza nti ssente zino waakuzikozesa okuyamba bannayuganda mu ngeri ez'enjawulo.
Twaladda ne Katonda atuyambye zikomyewo ate zituyambe nga bannayuganda okukulaakulana. Era nabagamba ngenda kuggulawo bank bannayuganda okulaba nga bannayuganda tebafutuuka. Nabagamba nti nasaba political reforms mu banking industry. Abantu bano ekisookera ddala bajja ne badominating banking industry by almost 95%. Abantu bawe emirimu gyonna egya top management bonna bagwira. Ne bajja ne babera kati gwe munnayuganda owa wansi onayogera ki ne MD nga tamanyi wadde okwogera olulimi lw'okola ki.
Omusango guno guludde nga guwulirwa era nga gumaze ebbanga lya myezi 5 nga Miss Kiggundu abangi gwe bamanyi nga Ham asika omuguwa ne Diamond Trust Bank. Nakandi Sarah, ACV, Select enjawulo.
And we have seen other people will be happy about this development where Hamis Kiggundu won this particular case and was awarded 120 billion Ugandan shillings. But some people, especially those in the banking sector, are not happy by what the judge passed in this case. They say that the judgment that was passed in this case will forever affect the economy and banks of Uganda, and it could lead to the downfall of a number of banks in Uganda and the relationship of Ugandan banks and the international banks. Now here's why. Hamis Kiggundu had a loan worth 39.7 billion Ugandan shillings from DTB Bank. Now, DTB Bank did not have enough money to give Hamis Kiggundu, and they asked their counterparts in Kenya, their branch in Kenya, to give them the money to give Hamis Kiggundu. Now, when Hamis Kiggundu put up that particular loan, his security was his land in Makerere. And when the bank said that in a 5 years plan, he will be paying this money in Pola and Pola, Hamis Kiggundu Kiggundu failed to pay the money in time. So as agreed, they started withdrawing money from his bank account and took his land title that he had put as security. Now, Hamis Kiggundu came to find out that the Kenyan branch had lended him part of the money. And that's the argument that his lawyer used in court. He said that the bank in Kenya that lended Hamis Kiggundu money was an illegal transaction, and that is what they used to win the case. He said he has no account in the Kenyan bank, and why is it that the Kenyan bank had to give them money? Now, Simon Chris, when you look at this case and how Hamis Kiggundu won this case, the International Bank Association, the Regional Bank Association, and the National Bank Association have a syndicate that they play. Now, their syndicate is that when there's a loan that DTB or Stanbic needs to give someone and they don't have enough money, they play a syndicate with their sister branches in other countries to make sure that they bring in the money and they share the money, they put it together and give it to this person. Because now we have a case where Stanbic Bank gave Ugandan government over 300 million Ugandan shillings, and they're looking at how do we get back the money, because if Hamis Kiggundu won this money and we played a syndicate with our South African branch, actually it was $300 million, we played a syndicate with our South African branch. They gave us $200 million and we brought up the $100 million. Now, if anybody has seen this case that Hamis Kiggundu has won and they have such a syndicate in their bank, they're going to come and they're going to talk about it, and that means every one of them is going to win this case. And that means we're going to look at a collapse of the bank system in Uganda, because the money that you've borrowed from South Africa, you're going to have to pay it. Katiweba Gamba, South Africa illegally played a part in Uganda's economy. That means the 200 that South African bank gave to Uganda,
it's a loss.
So they said they need to appeal in the court and see how this can be done, because they cannot do this. They cannot work independently in Uganda. Kumanga kati, if they can't borrow money from their sister banks, how are they supposed to run as a bank and make it through? So that is really the conversation that is going on.
That's true. Yeah. And to me, what I'm trying to think about is that there is need to do a general investigation into some of the commercial banks in Uganda. The allegations that are circulating on social media, and even Stanbic Bank came and also talked about these allegations about some of their officials who are using people's titles to acquire loans in different banks. So it's somehow connected to Hamis Kiggundu's case. And now going back to Hamis Kiggundu's case, we do remember that in 1980, or during the previous regimes, it could be so hard to win a case if you are not on the side of the government. And we do remember in the case of the 1980, when President Museveni filed a petition after losing out in the Mbara constituency election again to Sam Kutesa, the current Foreign Affairs Minister. So that case up to now, tegusalwanga okuva mu 1998 mpaka kati omusango ogwo tegunaba kusalwa. So what is happening currently, it is a true picture that there is absolute democracy in the judicial system of...
but here's my question.
Let me first drive this home. What happened yesterday, it shows that there's clear democracy in the judicial system, to the extent that kumulembe guno omuntu muna Uganda, a business person can win a case against a commercial bank.
Well, applaud to that, but how fair was this judgment, and what impact does it have in the Ugandan economy? Because that is an important part to discuss. We're looking at a downfall to an economy, because if you look at the money borrowed, MTN has borrowed money. We have the Ugandan government that has borrowed money. We have people from the real estate, very big real estate companies that have borrowed money. And because most of these banks cannot gather that money but on their own, they borrowed money from their sister banks. And now the judge came up to say it is illegal for them to do that. Now what happens if all those people lose when all those people win these cases and the banks lose, just like Hamis Kiggundu has set precedent. What does this mean for the economy of our country? What does it mean for the banks who have been trying to survive in the country? It's not like I'm vying for them, and it's not like I'm saying Hamis Kiggundu's win was wrong. But I mean, you went and borrowed money, right? And you put a security and you said in 5 years' time, that is in 2023, I'll be able to have finished paying this money. Naekati, you're coming up to say and question the illegality of how they removed the money from your account. But you had an agreement. The only breach in the agreement, which is not even a breach, is the fact that another branch gave the money to you, or half the money that you needed to you. But did you get it or not?
That depends on whether Hamis Kiggundu consented with the Diamond Trust Bank Kenya.
No.
Okay?
But here's the thing.
So if he did not consent with the Kenyan branch, that means he absolutely has a right.
But here's the thing. At the end of the day, did he receive the money or not? He did. Did he use the money in his business?
Who was the main complainant here?
He did. Hamis Kiggundu went back and complained and said that at the end of the day, he did not have an account in Kenya and he did not ask for the loan from Kenya. So how come Kenya is giving him money and asking DTB Uganda to give him back the money? But again, I've explained, Simon Chris. See, the situation is tricky. Ojitegera. Ugandan banks are not able to raise the amount of money that you need for a loan, okay? And they're helping you to get that loan for you. It's not like there are different interest rates on those two amounts of money from Kenya and Uganda. They're the same interest rate. And money is money. Whether it's coming from Kenya or Rwanda, money is money. You needed the money to use it, right? You got the money to use at the end of the day. So I think Hamis Kiggundu's problem is, where he went and complained is he failed to assent to the, he failed to assent to the agreement that was made between him and the bank, and yet he put his land as security.
He assented with the Diamond Trust Bank Uganda,
for me, it doesn't
not
matter.
Kenya.
For me, it doesn't matter. It's like telling me I cannot be I cannot be a multi-conventional company. I cannot have branches anywhere, and I cannot work with the branches that I have in the different countries.
The rules also do matter. The rules under which Diamond Trust Bank operates in Uganda are quite different with what Diamond Trust Bank Kenya operates under.
I will come back to saying.
But do you know how banks operate? And do you know how banks make money? They make money through loans.
I will come back to saying the interest rate is not different. So why would it bother you where they're getting the money to help you? No, by the time you sign a consent form with the bank,
Diamond Trust Bank Uganda.
Diamond Trust Bank. For me, it's Diamond Trust Bank because it has branches elsewhere. And remember, we're talking about the integration between the East African nation. Now, if we look at a situation where we're trying to create an autonomous situation for the banks in Uganda, it only means that we're going to create a standalone situation for the banks that we have. But how can they survive on a standalone? Are they able to financially survive on a standalone is the question I'm asking.
They can absolutely do that. But what they did wrong, actually, I still blame the Diamond Trust Bank, Uganda. What I was trying to tell is that how these commercial banks make money. Omugaga nga Kiggundu, Hamis Kiggundu, bwakutambula n'agenda mu Diamond Trust Bank n'agamba njagala this amount of money, okay? Oba baziina, oba tebaziina, they will say that we are going to give you the money. Okay?
How else are they supposed to make money?
They will say, we are going to give you the money, okay? Yet he will not mind waje mugendo kuzija. But what the problem comes in is you minding now? No, let me drive this home. What the problem comes in, igwe okuleta yo branch yo eri mu mawanga amalala that operates on different procedures, no leteno okukola okuwona onayagala loan. Kati atoli n'atandika okutemako sente.
They're not the ones that Kutema sente. The DTB Bank in Uganda is what Kutema sente. Because here's the thing. The DTB Kenya was not entirely involved in this. All it did was give money to its sister branch. Now, Hamis Kiggundu, when he asked for the loan, he agreed to a 5-year plan. And he failed to consent, he failed to deliver on the 5 years plan. And
which
that
is elapsing in 2023.
But by the time they say it's a 5-year plan, that means the money is going to be chopped in percentages every year. So by the time they started, a certain amount was supposed to be chopped from his account, and if he failed to pay that particular amount of money, they would take his land title and keep it with them until he finished. And he failed to. So at the end of the day, I believe Hamis Kiggundu failed to pay this money, and he found a loophole and used it. But that loophole,
whatever way that happened,
is going to affect the banking system in Uganda, because you cannot stand as a sole tree and live alone working as an integrated international and national and regional basis as banks. You cannot stand alone as a country, as Uganda alone. See, when we need a loan from a bank and it can't provide it, look at the situation of Ugandan government. No Sabasente and your bank, Stanbic Bank, the biggest bank, can't give it to you. What do? So Stanbic Bank comes in and say, oyagala $300 million, I can't provide it by myself, but I'm going to involve someone else and we'll give you the money. But the end justifies the means. Ofunye sente tofunye sente. You got the money. So if you have a plan to pay it, don't use the whole concept of Kati, they took my money and there's another bank involved. Fine, there's illegality that the bank saw,
that's
but
why
at the end of the day,
in.
I have refused the fact that he's using this topic.
Anyways, let's wait and see, because Diamond Trust Bank said they're going to appeal.
Case,
yes, but they say they are going to appeal.
Definitely.
And let's wait and see what exactly will come out from that.